Hi, Gaye DeRusso with the Majestic rider. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about reins. Reins are very confusing with people, how much contact they have on them. And most people want to ride like this, which is no contact with the horse, which is fine if the horse is trained, you know how to ride well, you can shorten your reins up quick, you're aware of your surroundings and all of that. But the problem with having the reins this long is that most people who ride like this, one, don't know how to ride well, two, don't pay attention to their surroundings, and three, are more of a passenger, not a leader for the horse. And that's a big mistake, and it's a reason a lot of people get hurt, fall off, and the horse is looking out for itself and following its instincts more because it doesn't think anybody is up there. And they're right. Nobody really is up there to help them. So when you're riding, you'll see my reins are always short when I'm riding because I'm always training horses. These are all new horses. It's not like any of them have been here a year or anything. So I'm always have a light contact, and so I can tell the horses what to do. I let them know I'm there, and then I tell them things to do when things are coming up. And I might use the reins to distract them. I might slide the bit like you saw in my other video, and then I might be asking them to put their head down by squeezing and relaxing and doing different things. What you're trying to do is, in the beginning of your ride, it's always good to have a light contact and be conscious while, and really paying attention to your surroundings when it's new and the horse is alert and not tired. As the horse gets more tired in the trail ride, sure, you can loosen up, and sure, you can ride on the buckle here and there. But you want to make sure the horse doesn't fall asleep. Some of the walking horses get really put heavy on their front end and forehand if you're riding like this. Any horse with a big head and a long neck could get very heavy. And the pacey ones, all those things make them more trippy. And if you ride like this and they get lazier, they just drag those toes. So it's much better to ride with some contact. And then you can give them times where you just push your arms forward and that gives them a release. Or you can drop the reins. Let them have a couple minutes, but be sitting back with your feet kind of forward in case they did trip, and then pick your reins back up, do some more work, and then let them go on a looser rein. When you do those things, again, those are fine, but what you're trying to do is as you're riding, don't be totally distracted. Sure, you can talk with your friends, but pay attention to what's going on, and when you see something coming, because this is one of the biggest mistakes I see, these people who don't really know how to ride or understand and they don't want to touch the horse's mouth, they might see it coming or they might not because they're not paying a lot of attention and they don't do anything. And what the horse does is pick its head up when it's scared, pick its head up, its ears go forward like, hey, are you back there? Because I see something. And the people are like, blah, 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 blah. And the horse is like, anybody, somebody come help me. And you're still back there, blah, blah, blah. And then the bike or whatever jumps out finally. The horse spins, the person falls off, and everybody goes, oh my God, that's so bad, blah. And they're like, what? Why did your horse do that? Why is he so bad? And then the person's like, I want to bring this back to the seller. This is a bad horse. You get it? They weren't there for him. They weren't paying attention. The horse said, I don't know what it is. I think it's best I run and get us out of here because you're clueless. And that's what the horse did. That is not a bad horse. That's a horse that was looking for somebody to help it, looking for some leadership, and nothing was there. So it took over control and got you out of there. What you're trying to do, especially when you don't know how to ride well, it's better to keep your reins short because you're not going to be quick at shortening those reins up. Okay? You might feel like you're in the horse's mouth, and you are, but in time you'll get better and you won't be in the horse's mouth as much. But you'll never learn if you never ride with some contact. These gaited horses have lots of gears, and if you don't have the reins short enough, they will change gears all the time, and you won't even get a consistent gait. So you have to have it short enough or be good enough, because again, if you're a good rider, that's different. But most of the people I see riding like that are not. And they're riding in halters, they're riding in bitless bridles, they're riding speedy horses in a snaffle, and the horse doesn't understand the bit, they don't understand what to do, and it ends up being a disaster at some point. So ride with some contact. If you've got your reins kind of loopy, and the horse is relaxed, but all of a sudden they pick their head up, you can either slide your hands down like this to get your reins, or you can slowly inch your fingers up. But don't do this. Oops, it came out of his mouth. Don't do that, because that yanks on their mouth. That's worse than anything else. Just slowly get your reins up, get it wide, sit back, get your horse's attention, give them some jobs to do, and once they see it's a bike or whatever it is, and the horse calms down, brings its head back down, sighs, relaxes, then you're like, he's okay now, so now I can loosen back up. But be there for them. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for you to be their leader, and if you're not, a lot of good horses turn bad just because of that. With the gaited horses, I know a lot of you don't want to have contact, or you're used to quarter horses, or your old horse that didn't need any contact, but the new horse, until it knows you, you know them, and you understand what their kryptonite is, in other words, what they're afraid of and when they need help, keep that rein shorter. If they're yanking their head up and down, yes, you could be holding too much. Yes, you could have too much bit in its mouth. You need to figure those things out, and you need to get better. That's how they're going to stop yanking their head so much. So if they're like, they keep yanking their head up and down, well, I'm going to loosen up for a little bit, you know? And I'm going to push my arms forward and ride like this, because that way I can still pick up contact if I need it, but I'm not pulling on their mouth the whole time. But then if I need to straighten them or something, I still can. But that's very hard to do when you're like this, you know, to go over here and then go over here. It's a lot more motion. Or you run like this and the horse trips, so you lean back and you try to help them to get back up, because gaited horses don't get up like quarter horses a lot of times. You know, they can do so many things, and some get confused, like what foot should I put where to get back up? And they might fall down. So you're much better if they trip or something, and I have this in another video under proprioception, that you lean back, hold, and so they can kind of push on the bit and help themselves back up. But they can't do that if your reins are like this. If they trip, they got nothing to push on to help them get back, and if you fall forward, you knock them on the ground, and then they just plow into the ground. So, you know, some of these horses are trippy, some are not, and some of it's all the rider or the saddle that's making them trip. You just want to know that when you use your hands, you're not going to be good in the beginning. That's just the way it is with everything, but over time you're going to get better. In the beginning, you're going to pull too hard, like this. You're going to yank on them too much. You're not going to get their head down well, and when I say pull out, you're going to go like this, or you're not going to do it enough. It takes time and practice. But once you really know how to ride, even if the reins are short, it's a light contact, and you'll see our horses aren't yanking their heads around. They're just fine because we're not in their mouth. We have a light contact, and that's just our communication line with them. And then all we're doing is just squeezing our fist. We're not doing much at all. So I'm not taking the reins and yanking them over here and yanking them over there. People think that's kinder. I don't. So you just want to squeeze and relax. It should be invisible. That's why it's called the art of riding. And you want to be balanced, help your horse, but be there for them. Okay, hope that helps.